Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Nipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges citizens to hoist the national tricolour at home to mark India's 80th Independence Day on Saturday. In a first, Houthis kill 4 crew, 2 rescuers in Bab el-Mandeb Strait attack, while in Gulf of Oman, US strikes cargo ship violating blockade. Oil prices gain and global shares retreat. Colombia earthquake death toll rises above 240 as rescuers race to find survivors through mountains of rubble. Thailand suspends new gun permits days after a 14-year-old gunman killed 9 people in a school. Europe to witness a rare total solar eclipse on Wednesday. First of Spain's 3 eclipse run will plunge parts of the country into eerie daytime darkness. And on to the details now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday called on every household to participate enthusiastically in the Har Ghar Tiranga movement, urging citizens to hoist the tricolour and renew their pledge to contribute towards building a Viksit Bharat ahead of Independence Day. He said that the tricolour is our pride and a constant source of inspiration to always give our best for the nation. Prime Minister Modi also expressed happiness that this year's Har Ghar Tiranga campaign is dedicated to Vande Mataram as the nation marks the 150th anniversary of the national song.
आइए 15 अगस्त को आन बान शान से मनाएं, स्वतंत्र सेनानियों को श्रद्धांजलि दें, विकसित भारत का संकल्प लें, हर घर तिरंगा, घर घर तिरंगा, हर मन तिरंगा। आइए हर घर पर तिरंगा लहराइए। भारत माता की जय। वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम, वंदे मातरम।
And for more, we have Vishal Barrister joining us. Well, good morning, Vishal. The Prime Minister has urged every household to hoist the tricolour and renew their pledge towards building a Viksit Bharat, generating a new vigour among the citizens across the country.
Well, absolutely. Very good morning to you, Lipakshi. Yesterday, in the Mangal Milan meeting of the NDA MPs, the Prime Minister also gave a new push to this campaign, which started off on the 9th of August and will carry on till the 17th of August. And all the MPs, they waved the tricolour. Political parties and also the countrymen to be part of this Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. And the slogan was Har Ghar Tiranga, Ghar Ghar Tiranga, Har Man Tiranga. Every house and every heart should have this tricolour. Let me also tell you that the flag code of 2002 has been amended twice. So now we can have polyester made and machine made flags also. And this flag campaign, Tiranga campaign, is being run in the country since 2022, because in July 22, 1947, the Constituent Assembly had adopted the tricolour, and that is why the Prime Minister wants that every countryman should participate, and we through DD India would also ask the international viewers, Indians staying abroad, to be part of this very proud campaign, because this year we are also celebrating 150 years of our national song, Vande Mataram.
Absolutely.
So let's be part of it, and we all should take great pride, and we should also take great pleasure in celebrating this Independence Day and also this Har Ghar Tiranga campaign.
Absolutely, Vishal. A very, very proud moment for every Indian out there. This year's Har Ghar Tiranga campaign is dedicated to Vande Mataram as the nation marks 150 years of the national song. How significant is this, and how enthusiastic are the people to participate in the campaign at various places?
Well, certainly the 150 years anniversary, 150th anniversary of Vande Mataram is certainly a big moment for everybody of us because this song literally gave a huge push for to our freedom fighters and also to our national campaign against the British Raj. And today, while we celebrate 150 years of the song, national song, it gives us great pride, and every metro station is playing it, and now the national song is also being played on every occasion. So we should also recite and sing this national song with great pride because this song gave the freedom fighters the spirit to fight against the British Raj, the 200 years old of British Raj, because the Britishers always believed that the sun never sets on the British Empire, but it did, and Vande Mataram played a key role in it. So Har Ghar Tiranga, 150 years of the national song Vande Mataram, definitely we should all participate, not only in India, but also across every corner of the world, wherever Indians reside.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vishal, for all those details. Well, India is set to celebrate the 80th Independence Day this 15th August, a day that is defined by patriotic fervour, remembrance of freedom struggle and aspirations of the future. Celebrations are led by the Prime Minister from the ramparts of the historic Red Fort with hoisting of the Tricolour. The next report explores the significance of the day, the story of India's national flag.
The Independence Day on 15th August marks the dawn of freedom of India. The year was 1947. As the tricolour rose high, it was the beginning of an era of deliverance from the clutches of British colonialism of more than 200 years. India's independence was a tryst with destiny, as the struggle for freedom was long and witnessed the sacrifices of numerous freedom fighters. India is celebrating 80th Independence Day in 2026. The day is celebrated with patriotic fervour by Indians at home and abroad. The celebrations are led by the Prime Minister of India from the ramparts of the historic Red Fort in Delhi. As the leader of the nation hoists the national flag, the nation is filled with pride over its heritage and energized to fulfill the aspirations of its people. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has set an ambitious goal for the nation. India will seek to become a developed nation by 2047 when it celebrates 100 years of independence.
140 करोड़ भारतवासी 2047 में जब आजादी के 100 साल होंगे, विकसित भारत के संकल्प को परिपूर्ण करने के लिए पूरी ताकत से जुटे हैं। इस संकल्प की पूर्ति के लिए भारत आज हर सेक्टर में आधुनिक इकोसिस्टम तैयार कर रहा है और आधुनिक इकोसिस्टम हर क्षेत्र में हमारे देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाएगा।
Across India and the world, from the grand ceremony at the Red Fort to schools, missions, institutions and homes, the national flag becomes a symbol of freedom and unity in diversity. Har Ghar Tiranga is an initiative by the Government of India to foster a personal connection between citizens and the Indian national flag, the Tiranga. The journey of tricolour mirrors the journey of India's freedom struggle itself. The present form of India's national flag was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on July 22, 1947. But decades before that, different flags emerged as symbols of India's growing national consciousness. In 1906, during the Swadeshi and boycott movement, a flag was hoisted at Parsi Bhagan Square in Kolkata. Madam Bikaji Kama raised first Indian flag in Germany. Then came 1917. During the Home Rule movement, Annie Besant and Bal Gangadhar Tilak used a flag that represented demand for greater self-rule for Indians. And in 1921, at the Congress session in Vijayawada, a young freedom fighter named Pingali Venkaya presented a flag designed to Mahatma Gandhi. A charka at its center represented progress and self-reliance. In 1931, a formal resolution adopted a modified version of this design. Saffron replaced red, while white and green remained. In July 1947, the Constituent Assembly adopted the flag of independent India as we know it today, the spinning wheel by the Dharma Chakra of Emperor Ashoka, the wheel of truth, movement and righteous progress. The flag was no longer simply a symbol of a movement, it became the flag of a nation, the tricolour. Hoisting the national flag comes with responsibility. The Flag Code of India lays down rules for the respectful display of the tricolour. The national flag should traditionally be hoisted at sunrise and lowered at sunset. Since the 2022 amendment, the flag can also be flown at night if it is adequately illuminated. Hoist the flag briskly and lower it slowly with dignity. Keep the saffron band on top when displayed vertically. Display the flag in a prominent position, not overshadowed by other flags or objects. Ensure the flag is clean, undamaged and of correct proportions of 3:2. Flag can be made of hand-spun, hand-woven or machine-made cotton, polyester, wool or silk khadi bunting. The flag may be flown by individuals, private organizations and educational institutions on all days. Damaged or soiled flags should be disposed of privately in a dignified manner. From the first flags of the freedom movement to the tricolour of today, the journey of the national flag is part of the nation's history. On every August 15th, it rises again to remind us what it represents: freedom, unity, dignity and responsibility. Bureau Report, DD India.
Well, now let's take a look at some other interesting stories related to upcoming Independence Day celebrations. While most flautists play the flute using their mouths, Bikaner resident Basant Oja has mastered the art of playing it through his nose. Oja is putting his unique skill to work, rehearsing patriotic songs for Independence Day celebrations. The musician hopes to take this unique skill further by teaching younger artists and helping the technique gain wider acceptance and popularity. Women are also working tirelessly these days across the country to stitch the tricolour ahead of Independence Day. Women at the self-help group in Uttar Pradesh's Saharanpur have an ambitious target of producing 222,000 flags under the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign, which will be distributed across the district. The aim is not just of producing the tricolour in large quantities, but also of helping women from self-help groups earn some additional income. In Jammu Kashmir, a tricolour bike rally was organized in Banihal in a run-up to the Independence Day. Police personnel, security forces, army personnel, youth, students, volunteers and locals all participated enthusiastically. Participants carrying the national flag rode to Karpora, displaying the tricolour and spreading a message of patriotism and unity. With Independence Day just 4 days away, roadside stalls across Rajasthan's Bikaner are turning into tricolour markets as sellers prepare to meet the rush ahead of August 15th. National flags of all sizes are available here, from small flags to larger ones for bigger celebrations. There is something for everyone. Since its launch 4 years ago, the Har Ghar Tiranga campaign has encouraged people to hoist the national flag at their homes and share images of their participation in Independence Day celebrations. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. Ukraine submits fresh peace proposals to US as Zelensky pushes for renewed talks with Russia. Canada battles growing wildfire threat as extreme heat and drought fuel fast-spreading blazes. France set to welcome its first Hindu temple as BAP's Swaminarayan Temple nears September inauguration.
This week on Defense Dynamics, is India ready to enter the 6th generation fighter race? New Delhi explores a role in French-led FCAS. What does that mean? Could the 114 Rafales become Indian Air Force's biggest fighter acquisition in decades? And what does the successful Agni 4 trial mean for India's strategic deterrence capability? Find it all this week on Defense Dynamics this Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching TD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on to US-Iran now. 4 crew members were killed in an attack by Iran-backed Houthis on a cargo ship in the el-Mandeb Strait on Tuesday. At the southern end of the Red Sea, 4 crew members and 2 Yemeni rescuers from an anti-Houthi military group were killed in a suspected Houthi attack on a small cargo vessel in the el-Mandeb Strait. The fatalities aboard the Egyptian-owned Tihamaha would be the first deaths on shipping by Houthis since the Iran war began. Separately, the United States military has said it fired on a ship attempting to break its blockade of Iranian ports in the Gulf of Oman. In a statement, U.S. Central Command said it had fired 2 Hellfire missiles, disabling the steering gear of the Panama-flagged container ship Villanova cargo vessel. The vessel also ignored repeated warnings to stop violating a naval blockade on Iranian ports, Central Command added. It is the 12th vessel attacked by U.S. forces since its blockade was announced in April, and the 3rd since the blockade was reimposed on July 14th. And the United States and Iran have exchanged new demands during negotiations for the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. While the U.S. has said it is involved directly in the talks, Iran said the Strait of Hormuz will remain closed unless the United States changes its behavior and accepts Iran's conditions, blaming Washington as the root cause of insecurity in the region. Also, U.S. President Donald Trump said the situation with Iran is going fine, telling reporters at Joint Base Andrews that U.S. forces are in total control of the Strait of Hormuz. Hossein Rezai, the head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, said that Washington must end the conflict, unfreeze Iranian assets and accept other conditions that have been conveyed to the U.S. administration through intermediaries. He said that any agreement between Iran and Oman on shipping routes through the Strait of Hormuz would be handled separately from the issue of the closure of the strait. Well, the oil prices bounced around before finishing higher on Tuesday, while global stocks were mixed as markets awaited a key inflation report. Also, the crude prices initially rose more than 2% on hardening rhetoric between the United States and Iran on the prospects for reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Wall Street stocks weakened as the session progressed. All 3 major indices ended lower, with the broad-based S&P 500 down 0.3%. All eyes will be on Wednesday's Consumer Price Index report for July. In European stock trading, Paris and London closed marginally lower, while Frankfurt was higher. And for more on this, we have Akshay Dongre joining us. Well, Akshay, with the US and Iran still at odds over the Strait of Hormuz, how close are we seeing this standoff turn into a bigger confrontation? And what could this mean, especially for the oil supplies, prices and the global economy?
Well, obviously, there will be a havoc as far as the oil prices are concerned if there is a conflict that blows between the 2 countries. But to speculate is going to be a very difficult task, Lipakshi, that when things are going to get, heated up, or rather things start blowing up once again,
right,
as Donald Trump has put it. Because as of now, what we are seeing from both the sides are 2 actions. One is back channel talks where they are making their negotiation, and the second is posturing for their domestic audience as well as the international allies, along with the international audience too, that they are winning. So that is what Donald Trump is doing. That is what Iran is doing. Donald Trump saying that they are in total control of Strait of Hormuz cannot be absolutely true, because you cannot be in control of a situation so complicated 100%. So that in itself is an exaggeration, perhaps for boosting the morale of their troops. These kind of statements are coming in, and it's not just the US. Even Iran is saying things like opening of Strait of Hormuz is going to be impossible. They are a country much smaller than the US, much weaker than the US, having a much lesser military presence even in the region as compared to the US assets that are there. So they're making a claim that something is going to be impossible is nothing short of rhetoric and posturing that they are doing for their domestic audience to show that they are winning in this conflict, they are winning in the negotiation, and perhaps if this continues and both do not actually focus more on the negotiation than actual posturing, then things can get very bad from here. That can mean the oil price is going up, economy is going down, especially when we talk about the domestic markets of the developing countries.
Absolutely, Akshay. Thank you so much for all that details. And on Tuesday, President Volodymyr Zelensky said that Ukraine had handed over proposals to US negotiators for a plan to end the more than 4-year-old conflict with Russia. Now, the US negotiators, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, were last in Moscow last January and have not yet visited Kyiv. Russia says it wants a settlement, but any solution must involve Ukraine fully ceding 4 regions, Moscow claims, as well as resolving the conflict's root causes. Also, Ukraine has repeatedly called for a ceasefire after nearly 4.5 years of fighting. Zelensky's announcement of fresh proposals for peace talks, largely stalled since the outbreak of the conflict with Iran, comes amid suggestions by both Russia and Ukraine that US negotiators would soon pay a visit to their two countries.
There was a briefing by the negotiating team. We have conveyed our proposals to the American side, and the United States can help strengthen our defense, first and foremost with air defense, and put pressure on Russia so that its plans are different, to prepare for an end to the war rather than prolonging it.
Well, moving on, a Syrian court on Tuesday sentenced former ruler Bashar al-Assad to death after a trial in absentia, convicting him of atrocities committed during the country's nearly 14-year civil war. It is the first such ruling under Syria's transitional leaders, who ousted Assad in December 2024, vowing to provide justice and accountability for crimes committed under his rule. Assad fled to Moscow as Islamist-led forces closed in on Damascus after a lightning offensive. The court also sentenced 6 former military and security officials in absentia to death, including Assad's brother Maher, who ran the army's elite 4th Division. And some updates on Colombia earthquake now. Rescuers, soldiers and volunteers searched through collapsed apartment blocks and office buildings on Tuesday, a day after a magnitude 7.4 earthquake shook the South American nation. Rescue teams have continued searching through the rubble more than a day after the earthquake, with several people pulled alive from collapsed buildings. At least 250 people have been confirmed dead, most in the cities of Cali and Pereira. Some 5,000 homes suffered damage across the country, while dozens of buildings, many of them residential, collapsed entirely. In Cali, volunteers quickly went to work with picks, basic tools and their own hands to try to find survivors. Rescuers formed human chains to remove bricks and masonry, stopping every few minutes to listen for signs of life from those trapped below. In Pereira, capital of the hard-hit state of Risaralda, emergency teams aided by police, soldiers and volunteers worked through the night with excavators and at times their bare hands hunting for survivors beneath the debris. Meanwhile, Colombia's president traveled to an area affected by earthquake as authorities assessed the damage and impact on communities. The Colombian president, in a speech, announced a series of relief measures to support the affected communities. And Thai Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul on Tuesday suspended the issuance of permits to buy firearms and said existing licenses would be reviewed days after a 14-year-old gunman killed 9 people. Thai Prime Minister directed a Deputy Prime Minister overseeing legal affairs to expedite a new gun control law with stronger controls and significantly harsher penalties. Police were ordered to stop renewing permits that enable people to buy firearms. Thailand had an estimated 10.3 million firearms in civilian possession, equating to around 15 guns per 100 residents. And moving on, millions of people across Europe will witness a rare total solar eclipse on Wednesday, with Spain emerging as the best viewing location. The moon will completely cover the sun, casting a shadow from Russia's remote Arctic north at around 1700 GMT through Greenland, Iceland and across Spain before disappearing into the Mediterranean around 1830 GMT. This will be mainland Europe's first total solar eclipse since 2006. The total blackout will last less than 2 minutes in Spain, while a partial eclipse will be visible across much of Europe, Canada, the northern US and northwest Africa. Well, the scientists are preparing a NASA-funded WB-57 high-altitude research aircraft in Iceland to study the Sun and Earth's atmosphere during Wednesday's total solar eclipse. The aircraft will fly above the clouds using specialized cameras to capture high-resolution images of the Sun's corona and its outer atmosphere. Thousands of eclipse watchers have traveled to Spain, with the event expected to bring an estimated 347 million euros economic boost and over 4.4 lakh additional tourists. The scramble for protective glasses has reached a fever pitch across Europe as pharmacies, opticians and other shops struggle to keep them in stock. Authorities in Spain have warned of challenges due to extreme heat, wildfire risk and heavy traffic, with up to 1.5 million extra road journeys expected towards the eclipse viewing zones. And some weather updates now. First up from Canada, where British Columbia province is facing a growing wildfire threat amid severe drought and extreme heat, with officials warning of more fast-spreading fires. The Western Canadian province has 102 active wildfires, including the Bald Range blaze, which forced thousands to evacuate and showed explosive growth. Authorities said major fires are burning near Okanagan Lake, which has recorded its lowest ever water levels due to reduced snowfall and rainfall. Nationwide, Canada is highly vulnerable to intense, fast-spreading wildfires because of its vast stretches of unmanaged boreal forest. Average temperatures in the country are also increasing roughly twice as fast as the global average. Officials warn that dry conditions and climate change are increasing the risk of intense wildfires across Canada. And still to come in DD India NewsHour. We'll get you an update on what's lined up in both the Houses of Parliament for today. India braces for widespread monsoon rains as IMD warns of heavy downpours, thunderstorms and disruptions across regions. And we'll also get you a story on Gufkral, which offers a glimpse into Kashmir's ancient past.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse. Is the United States China's debt trap strategy? Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and time now for a quick recap of the headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi urges citizens to hoist the national tricolour at home to mark India's 80th Independence Day on Saturday. In a first, Houthis kill 4 crew, 2 rescuers in Bab el-Mandeb Strait attack, while in Gulf of Oman, US strikes cargo ship violating blockade, oil prices gain and global shares retreat. Colombia earthquake death toll rises above 240 as rescuers race to find survivors through mountains of rubble. Thailand suspends new gun permits days after a 14-year-old gunman killed 9 people in a school. Europe to witness a rare total solar eclipse on Wednesday. First of Spain's 3 eclipse run will plunge parts of the country into eerie daytime darkness. An update on what's lined up in both the houses of Parliament for today. In Rajya Sabha or the Upper House, Union Home Minister Amit Shah will move the Kerala Alteration of Name Bill 2026 for consideration and passing. The bill proposes to change the name of the state of Kerala as Keralam. In February 2026, the Union Cabinet had cleared the proposal for the name change. Earlier, the Legislative Assembly of Kerala had passed a resolution in June 2024 to alter the name of the state of Kerala to Keralam. Amit Shah will also move the National Cooperative Development Corporation Amendment Bill 2026. The bill expands the financial and operational powers of the NCDC to strengthen India's cooperative sector. In the Lok Sabha, the lower house, Union Mines Minister G. Kishan Reddy will move the Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Amendment Bill 2026 for consideration and passing. The bill proposes a series of reforms aimed at making India's mining sector more efficient, investment-friendly and better equipped to meet the country's growing demand for critical minerals. Well, a historic moment is just weeks away in France. The Grand Baptist Swaminarayan Hindu Temple in Paris is in its final stages of preparation. This will be the first Hindu temple in France, and its inauguration is set for September 6th. Our correspondent Rohini Gosavi takes us inside the temple to show us the last-minute preparation and the excitement building up.
So Paris is getting ready for its first ever traditional Hindu temple, which is set to inaugurate in September. All preparations are in final stage. Workers and volunteers are working day and night. Some are polishing the walls, others are adding the final touches to the decorations. Everyone is working hard to finish the temple before the inauguration. September 6th is the day everyone is waiting for. The temple will open its door to devotees from around the world with 12-day inaugural festival that will feature prayers, cultural programs and spiritual activities. This is not just any temple. It will be the first BAPS Swaminarayan Hindu temple in France. This is a dream come true for the Indian community here. BAPS has been working tirelessly to make this vision a reality.
There is a buzz, there is happiness. They are congratulating each other for the efforts they're all putting in. So it feels like we've already reached the climax, we've already reached the inauguration, because at every stage, whether someone is sweeping the floor or they're lifting stone or polishing stone or varnishing wood, whatever they may be doing, or cooking for the volunteers, everyone is feeling that it's here.
The temple will have a unique blend of traditional Hindu architecture with French cultural sensitivity.
The construction isn't the mandir or the physical building. It's the construction of two communities, two cultures, two techniques, two methods and processes, two ways of life, two ways of building buildings and monumental buildings and historic buildings, exchanging ideas with one another, exchanging work practices with one another, and coming together, achieving a common ground. That common ground is what we see behind us, the mandir.
This is very emotional because I have done seva, and it is going to be a lifetime memory for me, and I'm really proud.
Building this temple was not easy, but the community came together, overcoming every challenge.
I was in charge for handling the installation of the stones, and these stones are really heavy. To pick up those stones, to work with the artisans, Indian traditional artisans, they have a different kind of work module. To align them with the local French artisans was something that was a little bit challenging, but then with the grace of God, everything went through, and it is now a masterpiece that you could see.
This place will bring families together, and it will be a heritage for the future generations as well. So it is a very happy moment, and we are also happy that we will be able to contribute to the local community later. Yeah.
The final countdown is on. Every day something new is being added as the temple is getting closer to its grand opening. This is Rohini Goswami in Paris for DD India.
And now some weather updates from across India. Amidst the aggressive impact of the monsoon across the country, the Meteorological Department has once again issued an alarming alert. Delhi and Haryana are likely to receive widespread rainfall, with another spell of rain expected on August 13th. Well, the national capital may also experience thunderstorms and lightning during the active monsoon spell. The western Himalayan region is expected to remain wet through much of the week. Fairly widespread to widespread rainfall is likely over Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh and Uttarakhand till August 16th. Heavy rain has disrupted traffic on 56 roads in Himachal Pradesh. Chandigarh-Manali National Highway 3 also blocked near Jalogi. Madhya Pradesh is also likely to remain one of the major rainfall hotspots in central India. West Madhya Pradesh is expected to receive widespread rainfall, while East Madhya Pradesh is likely to see widespread rainfall from until August 16th. The IMD has also forecast scattered rainfall over Maharashtra, Marathwada and Saurashtra and Kutch during the period. East India is also likely to remain under an active monsoon spell. Fairly widespread to widespread rainfall is expected over Odisha and Gangtok, West Bengal through August 16th. Very heavy rainfall is possible at isolated places over Arunachal Pradesh and Assam and Meghalaya on August 15th and 16th. Also, southern India is likely to experience a mix of scattered and widespread rainfall during the week. Fairly widespread to widespread rainfall is forecast over coastal Karnataka, Kerala, Mahe and Lakshadweep until August 16th. And we have a correspondent, Rajat Vora, joining us from Jammu and Shabida joining us from Srinagar for more. Well, Rajat, with heavy rain expected across the western Himalayan region and several roads also already disrupted, what is the situation on the ground in Jammu right now, and what precautions are being taken for the fresh spell of rain which is predicted?
You rightly said that Jammu and Kashmir is expected to experience a more significant active that monsoon for the next couple of days, as the IMD has issued an orange alert for Jammu region from August 12 to 16. The authorities are more concerned about the shooting stone, landslides and flash floods in some parts of Jammu region. As if we talk about the Jammu region, out of 10 districts, more than 7 districts are put on orange alert, and they are cautioned that the landslides can now come and flash floods can also erupt in some parts of Jammu. That's why the authorities have issued an alert for all the people, especially who are living in low-lying areas and those who are living near streams and rivers. They are being told that they should be remain on alert and in close coordination with the authorities, so that if any thing happen, they can be evacuated and get the help in times. As far as the Jammu region is concerned, Jammu, Udhampur, Riyasi, Doda, Kiswar, and Poonch and Rajouri are some of the districts which are put on high alert, and authorities have told all the SDRF and DRF teams to remain on alert, because we have seen a series of flash floods in past 2 months. If we talk about the data, more than 35 cloud bursts have been reported and claiming 31 lives. That's why the authorities are totally
Right, Rajat.
on alert. on alert, and they are continuously monitoring the situation.
All right. Shabir, you are in Srinagar with the IMD warning of more widespread rain across Jammu and Kashmir. How are the weather conditions in Srinagar at the moment, and what is being done to deal with the risk of waterlogging or further disruption out there?
Yeah, as you speak, it is raining in Srinagar and in other parts of the Kashmir Valley. As we already know that the orange alert has been issued for the Jammu region. Kashmir region is also on high alert with authorities, advising people not to venture, not to go to the vulnerable areas, because we have seen, the weather pattern from last 2 months has been very erratic. There has been, 40 incidents of, landslides and shooting stones in various parts of the Jammu and Kashmir too has seen, the landslides, shooting stones, and flash floods in vulnerable areas and in the hilly areas. So as the IMD has advised and given an advisory that there will be erratic weather in the coming week. So the authorities are on high alert. They are advising people to be cautious, not to venture to the vulnerable areas, and simultaneously, because Srinagar and other areas of Kashmir Valley face waterlogging problems when it rains heavily. So the authorities are on the job. They have pressed into service the water pumps and other machinery to ensure that people don't face inconvenience and no traffic issues arises during these conditions. So authorities are on high alert, and people are being advised to remain cautious.
All right. Thank you so much, Rajat and Shabir, for all those details from there. Well, while Kashmir is celebrated for its breathtaking landscapes, villages like Gufkral preserve a much older story. The story of the valley's first settled inhabitants. The archaeological remains demonstrate that Kashmir was home to organized communities thousands of years before recorded history. DD India's correspondent Shabir Dar has filed this story from Kashmir's Tral area.
Long before the human history was written, people here had already begun to build their homes, farming the land, and live a settled way of life. The remains beneath this soil tell us a story of Kashmir's rich past civilization.
Nestled amid the serene countryside of Tral, Gufkral may appear like an ordinary village. But beneath this soil lies the story of Kashmir's earliest inhabitants. The name Gufkral literally means the cave of the potter, a fitting name for a site that has revealed evidence of prehistoric cave dwellings and handmade pottery. Excavations carried out by the Archaeological Survey of India revealed evidence of continuous human occupation dating back nearly 5 millennia, making Gufkral one of the most important prehistoric sites in the Kashmir Valley.
वहाँ पर जो गुफकराल की बस्ती है, उस बस्ती के जो उन लोगों के जो जद अजदाद थे, उनमें से बेशतर अफराद ने इन ही गारों में जो नेचुरल सूरत में यहाँ पर मौजूद थे, जो बड़ी आबादी इन ही गारों में न सिर्फ उन्होंने जन्म लिया, बल्कि चंद अफराद से जब हमने चंद साल पहले बात की, उन्होंने बताया कि बेशतर अफराद की शादियां भी इन ही गारों में हुई थी, और मुतअद्दिद अफराद ऐसे हैं जिन्होंने काफी मुद्दत तक इन ही गारों में वो रिहाइश पजीर रहे, अपनी जिंदगी का गुजर बसर इन ही गारों में किया है.
Beyond its archaeological importance, Gufkral is also a reminder of Kashmir's rich civilizational heritage. Every artifact recovered from this site adds another chapter to the story of how early communities adapted to the valley's environment and laid the foundations of settled life.
As efforts grow to preserve India's archaeological heritage, this important site stands as a powerful reminder that Kashmir's identity is rooted not only in its natural beauty, but also in one of the oldest chapters of human civilization in Indian subcontinent. With camera person Tariq, Shabir Dar for DD India in Gufkral, Tral.
And still to come on DD India NewsHour. India advances E20 fuel transition with focus on reliability and local conditions. Pankaj Advani handed a wildcard entry into Hayball World Championships. And a special report on father of the Indian space program, Vikram Sarabhai, on his 107th birth anniversary.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy, always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News now. Lipakshi Khuranan moving on. India is moving ahead with its transition to E20 fuel, a petrol blend containing up to 20% of ethanol. Now, the country is combining global experience with India-specific testing to ensure the fuel transition is reliable and suited to the local conditions. Here's more in this report.
As India moves ahead with its E20 transition, the focus is on making sure the fuel performs well under Indian conditions. The Automotive Research Association of India, a leading automotive R&D organization, is testing E20 for vehicle performance, emissions, and material compatibility. The testing goes beyond vehicle performance. ARAI is also using fleet data, emissions assessments, and globally recognized engineering and testing standards to evaluate how E20 works under Indian operating conditions. India's E20 transition is also drawing on the experience of other countries. Brazil, the United States, and several European nations have used ethanol-blended fuels for years to reduce emissions and diversify their energy supplies. ARAI says combining global insights with India-specific scientific assessment can help support a reliable and efficient E20 transition. The move is aimed at promoting cleaner mobility while strengthening energy diversification and supporting India's long-term sustainability goals. For India, the focus is on using global experience while ensuring E20 is thoroughly assessed for the country's own vehicles, roads, and operating conditions. Bureau Report, DD India.
And time now for some sports news. Pankaj Advani got a wildcard entry into the third edition of the Hayball World Championships, featuring some of the world's top men's and women players. The tournament, which will be held in Pune from August 12th to 15th, will feature a total of 128 players, 64 each in the men's and women's categories. The world number one, Jack Whelan and Gareth Potts, will be the key attractions, along with top-ranked women's player Wendy Jans from Belgium and reigning champion Kelly Fisher. The field includes 6 of the top 10 players in the men's category and 8 of the top 10 in women's players. There are a total of 15 Indian players, including Advani, who's handed a wildcard entry. And racing sensation Atika Mir became the youngest Indian to collect a couple of impressive top 10 finishes in round 4 of the FIA European Championship, a marquee event in the world of karting, which was held in Kristianstad, city of Sweden. 11-year-old Atika showed tremendous speed and fight to achieve a 9th and J10th place in the heat races in the 12-14 age category. Driving as a wildcard in only her second over FIA event, battled hard with drivers despite being among the youngest on the grid. Atika has got race wins and pole positions under her belt in a fast-rising career. But considering the challenge at hand in the FIA European Championship, which is dubbed as Formula One of the karting world, the European Championship is the highest level of karting and is run directly by the sports governing body, FIA. And world number 4, Coco Gauff, advanced to the semi-finals of the WTA Toronto Masters by walkover after Belinda Bencic withdrew due to a hip injury. Swiss star Bencic, ranked 14th in the world, pulled out with the US Open set to start at the end of the month. Benchik has never reached a Grand Slam final. Goff has 6-2 record in WTA matches against Benchik, had beaten her this year in the 4th round at Wimbledon and the Miami Open quarterfinals. Ben Shelton produced one of the standout performances of his career, overpowering Jakub Mensik 6-3, 6-1 to reach the Canadian Open semi-finals. The hard-serving 23-year-old dominated from start to finish as every facet of his aggressive game clicked, with Shelton committing just 3 unforced errors. And Portuguese player Cristiano Ronaldo married his longtime partner Georgina Rodrigues in a civil and private ceremony in Cascais town of Portugal. The couple announced their marriage by posting a photo on social media of their hands together with wedding rings. The pair have been in a relationship since 2016, having reportedly met in Spain's capital city while Ronaldo was playing for Real Madrid, and have 3 children together. 41-year-old Ronaldo is one of football's most decorated players, winning trophies at Manchester United, Real Madrid, Juventus and current club Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. The 5-time Ballon d'Or winner is about to begin his 5th season with the current Saudi champions Al Nassr. Well, India's space journey owes much to the vision of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, widely regarded as the father of the Indian space program. A scientist, institution builder and visionary, Sarabhai believed that science and technology must directly contribute to national development. More in this report.
Born on 12th August 1919 in Ahmedabad, Vikram Sarabhai pursued higher studies at the University of Cambridge before returning to India. In 1947, he established the Physical Research Laboratory in Ahmedabad, laying the foundation for advanced research in space science and related fields. Sarabhai played a pivotal role in shaping India's space program. In 1962, he was instrumental in establishing the Indian National Committee for Space Research, which laid the foundation for India's organized space program. ISRO was subsequently established in 1969. His vision extended beyond space research. Sarabhai believed that advanced technology must serve the needs of a developing nation, from education and communication to weather forecasting and development in remote areas. His dialogue with NASA helped pave the way for the Satellite Instructional Television Experiment, or SITE, launched in 1975. The pioneering experiment used satellite television to take educational programs to rural communities across India. Sarabhai also made a significant contribution to India's atomic energy program. Following the death of Homi Bhabha, he became chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission in 1966, serving in the position until 1971. Sarabhai's contribution extended beyond science and technology. He played an important role in the establishment of the Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and helped build and strengthen scientific institutions across the country. Dr. Vikram Sarabhai passed away on 30th December 1971 at the age of 52. In recognition of his immense contribution to science and nation building, he was conferred the Padma Vibhushan posthumously in 1972. More than 5 decades later, his vision continues to guide India's space program, from satellites and launch vehicles to missions reaching the moon and beyond. The foundations laid by Vikram Sarabhai remain an enduring part of India's scientific journey. Bureau Report, DD India.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.